I was there for the rise and the fall. And the reason I say that I'm the only person that knows the whole story is there is nobody else who worked for the seven original vice presidents hired by the founder and the new executive team.
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's newsman, Logan Crawford.
They now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into the explosive expose called Downfall of an Icon. It is written by a terrific author. His name is Darrell Lester. With 30 years inside Publishers Clearinghouse, rising from marketing analyst to senior vice president, the author is the only living person who knows the full story of the company's meteoric rise and shocking collapse. This insider memoir uncovers how a beloved sweepstakes giant went from media darling to bankruptcy, blending corporate drama, heartwarming stories of winners, and jaw-dropping behind-the-scenes antics. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Darrell, great to see you here today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for the invite, Logan.
You never know, one day somebody might knock at your door and have a ginormous check for you. I think every housewife in America was waiting for that knock on the door from Ed McMahon or Dick Clark or whomever to present them with that wonderful check. You were a big part of that history, a big part of the company. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to write this book.
Okay, let me first correct a misconception about Publishers Clearinghouse. And that's one reason why I wrote the book. Ed McMahon never worked for PCH. He worked for our competitor, American Family Publishers. Everybody, including Time Inc., who were the part owners of American Family Publishers, in their articles said Ed McMahon worked for PCH. He did not. I do have a movie script competitor, American Family, a lot of fun to write.
So I'm sorry I got confused on that, but I guess all of America did.
Shopping it. That is correct. So and it will I wrote the book to clear up all the misconceptions, not just because of the growth and the failure, but more importantly, it's the craziness of the executives. It's kind of like highs. Remember the movie The Wolf of Wall Street? The heartbreaking lows.
Exactly.
It's kind of comedy from the senior executives who were that's wildly crazy. Exactly. And I witnessed it not with the drugs as a young kid right out of college. Craziness. You couldn't make up some of the stories. To the entire company. I tried to do that in my book.
Crazy people.
Wonderful. Like I said,
now,
the 70s,
the deal was
80s,
you subscribed to different times in business, and by I kind of miss it because it was automatically entered. It was really into their sweepstakes. Kind of is that how it worked? Crazy.
Well, when the company was started in 1953, we sold magazine subscriptions only today. There was no contest at the time.
You'd be fired. You'd be canceled.
It took about 15 years before we tested the idea of a concept. I think it was 1967.
I mean, that would be sexual harassment. He's in his underwear. It's a hostile work environment. I can't work here anymore. So it wouldn't fly, that's for sure. But I think this would work either as a drama / comedy or as a wonderful documentary as well. You got all the commercials, you got videos of the winners, you got an entry, you got an interview with yourself,
but you could enter without buying anything as well.
You've got a lot of avenues there to explore. Did you have celebrity presenters? In the meantime, folks, read about it first because this book is an absolute hoot.
Ed McMahon was
a trip down
on the
memory lane. There's a lot of great insider stories that you never would have dreamed of in your wildest dreams.
We tested actually.
The name of the book is Downfall of an Icon.
In a
it is an
bathtub,
unforgettable insider's look
at the rise
and fall
that our
and the
name was so
in between
well known
of
at the
a
time.
legendary
We didn't need a
brand.
spokesperson.
Darrell, thank you so much for joining me here today. Exactly.
Thank you, Logan.
Yeah, I mean, there were certain names back in that era, speaking with you Records, folks at home. I'm Logan Crawford. That were thanking you for your time this time until next time. Had kind of an excitement and a buzz about them. Primarily, you could get 10 records or tapes overnight, or you could get the sweepstakes. It was a great time in media and advertising. I really think it was the golden age, don't you?
Well, yes, and especially for Publishers Clearinghouse, our first 45 years. Now, tell me if you know any other business that every single year for 45 years, sales increased by double digits. Every single year for 45 years. Uh, until the early 90s, we actually hit over $1 billion in annual sales in the early 90s. And the key to our success really was all the free, favorable publicity from TV and everywhere. We were on all the sitcoms reference. We were on all the news shows. We were on Oprah 3 times, for example. Oprah had the Prize Patrol van drive onto her stage live to surprise a winner. Uh, so all the free media coverage was just icing on our cake. It just made it the golden age for us for the first 4 to 5 decades until the collapse.
What sparked the collapse? Downfall in magazine subscriptions, the uprise in lotteries? Tell us about that.
Nope. It was a single episode. It was a older gentleman. His name was Richard Lusk, who flew from his home in California to Tampa, Florida. He thought he had won the $10 million prize from American Family Publishers, from our competitor. And at that time, the news discovered a new addiction. Older consumers addicted to sweepstakes, buying everything they could possibly buy. And that caused our sales and AFP sales and our other competitors to drop by 50% overnight. Overnight. We went from over $1 billion in sales to losing money overnight.
Amazing, because one guy got confused about winning a prize that really had nothing to do with you.
Well, one guy, except we did find out there were 25 people that flew to AFP's headquarters in Tampa to collect their prize. They did a promotion that was way over the top. The promotion said something to the effect, you're in a two-person race with one other person to win the $10 million. So 25 people flew to Tampa over several weeks to collect their prize. And it uncovered a lot of seniors were buying everything in sight to increase their odds of winning.
Amazing, which really did not increase their odds of winning, or minimally at best.
No, did not increase their odds of winning.
Exactly. It's like buying 10 lottery tickets. You still have an
It-
infinitesimal chance of winning.
that is correct.
Yeah. There were real winners. About how much did they win, and what kind of life-changing stories did you see?
Oh, I give many of them in the book. PCH, I think, had made 167 consumers millionaires, either 1 million or 10 million. Uh, but the life-changing stories, we don't have enough time to tell them. I mean, just unbelievable. I did get to meet a lot of the winners. We would fly them into our headquarters in New York and we'd throw a party for them and we'd wine and dine them in New York City. And the stories are just, the one, if I'll keep this one brief, my favorite story is the one where the Prize Patrol was in the middle of nowhere. I think it was Missouri, I forget where, and nobody was home, but there were no houses anywhere nearby. It was just this one old shack. And then a car drove up, and it was a mom and it was a young couple. And when they found out they won the $10 million, they just started crying, but more so than any other winner ever. She had just gotten back from a doctor's office and was told that you can't have any children unless you do a surgery that would be $10,000. They actually, the prize at that time was $10,000,
Wow.
and they now could have a family. So that was their story.
Amazing, amazing. It's nice to touch people's lives, change people's lives, and be in a business that created such a buzz and created a joy about it. Um, PCH is still around in some form, as I understand it.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's interesting, and this is breaking news basically. This was in the Wall Street Journal 4 or 5 days ago. Uh, I've been talking to a Wall Street Journal bankruptcy reporter for a couple of months now. PCH filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in April.
Hmm.
The company was sold to another company in July, to a company called ARB Interactive. And in August, about 5 days ago, the Wall Street Journal broke the news that, I hate to say this, but Publishers Clearinghouse is stiffing their prior winners.
Wow.
Winners of 1 million, there are $10 million plus winners that were unsecured creditors in the Chapter 11 filing, and they're getting screwed. And
Wow.
that's the quote that the Wall Street Journal quoted me saying was, "This is the worst thing in the world that Publishers Clearinghouse could do," end quote. Uh, but there is a new chapter. There is a new company running PCH. They have good intentions, et cetera, et cetera. We'll see what happens.
So the people who are getting stiffed on the prize money, are they recent winners that haven't collected anything yet, or was it annuitized where you receive certain payments over the years? Who's going to lose those prizes?
So I don't know all the full details. What I do know is there are winners that were, we used to prepay a 30-year annuity in the winner's name. So it wasn't our money. We'd prepay it. It was in the winner's name. That somebody at the top likely changed the payout to current earnings.
Hmm.
And since there haven't been any current earnings in several years, from what I'm told, they finally decided to go Chapter 11. So those consumers probably got 4 or 5 years worth of their 30-year annuity. It wasn't an annuity, it was from current earnings, but
Right.
then PCH stopped paying it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Wow. So that
Awful,
is a breaking news story, and there will be a
awful.
lot of people brokenhearted about that. And I'd imagine that local news coverage that used to come and do stories about look the sudden found fortune will be doing stories about look who's stuck holding the bag now. So it's amazing how it turns. You joined the company in the 1970s?
1973, right out of college, we were a tiny mom and pop company, unknown to anybody, including me at the time. And I rode that rise up, the roller coaster ride, I call it.
What year did you leave?
I left in 2003, so
Okay.
I was there for the rise and the fall. And the reason I say that I'm the only person that knows the whole story is there is nobody else who worked for the 7 original vice presidents hired by the founder and the new executive team.
Right.
Nobody else has worked with both of those vice presidents.
The corporate world back then is different than the corporate world now. When I talk to my children about what companies are like, I don't even recognize them because, working for places like CBS News back in the 1980s, it was a crazy place. Lots of wild stories. Like you mentioned, you had crazy, wild executives at PCH. Tell us a little bit about what it was like.
Well, I'll tell you two short ones.
Sure.
Uh, the founders were very family oriented. They treated us all like family. Let me give you one little example. Have you ever heard of a company putting fresh cut flowers on every employee's desk every Monday morning?
Wow. No.
And when I started in 73, we had maybe 100 employees. When we got to be 1,000 employees, we still put fresh cut flowers on everybody's desk. So that's one little thing that the owners did, but they treated us great, like family. The wild mischievous from the executives, you're going to have to read the book. But for example, one executive gave a speech in his underwear to the entire company. You can't make this stuff up.
Amazing. Amazing. It seems like it's quite nostalgic as we talk about it now. Of course it is. Do you think this would be a good film as well?
I did an interview with Mike Rowe a couple of months ago,
Mhm.
and we talked about that. I am working on making it into a movie. He wants it to be made into a movie. He told me he would help me do that. Uh,
Awesome.
I do have a movie script all written, which was a lot of fun to write, but I am shopping it as a movie, and it will be a great, fantastic movie, not just because of the growth and the
Mm.
failure, but the craziness of the executives. It's kind
Yeah.
of like, if you remember the movie The Wolf of Wall Street,
Yep.
the guy
Exactly.
was kind of over the top.
Yep.
Well, that's what the PCH executives were like, not with the drugs, but with
Right.
the
Right.
wild craziness.
Yeah.
I mean, a speech in his underwear. Who, to the entire company, who does that?
Crazy people. Like I said, the 70s, 80s, there were different times in business. I kind of miss it because it was a lot of fun. It was really kind of a crazy Wild West that was going on in the corporate world.
Rick, you couldn't do a lot of that stuff that we did today. That's for sure.
You'd be fired, you'd be canceled, you'd be arrested, you'd be sued, you know, right? I mean, that would be sexual harassment. He's in his underwear. It's a hostile work environment. I can't work here anymore. So it
Yeah.
wouldn't fly, that's for sure. But I think this would work either as a drama slash comedy or as a wonderful documentary as well. You've got all the commercials, you've got videos of the winners, you've got an interview with yourself that could be the primary voice talking about it. So you've got a lot of avenues there to explore when it comes to media. In the meantime, folks, read about it first because this book is an absolute hoot. It is a trip down memory lane. There's a lot of great insider stories that you never would have dreamed of in your wildest dreams. The name of the book is Downfall of an Icon. It is an unforgettable insider's look at the rise and fall and the hijinks in between of a legendary American brand. Darrell, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you, Logan. This was a pleasure.
True pleasure speaking with you as well, my friend. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on Spotlight.